It doesn't look dangerous, but it is. We've all gotten this text at one point or another. Maybe it was your ex, or maybe it was your mother. Maybe it was someone who once had power over you. And it looks nice enough to lower your guard, caring even. Most of the time it is. It's a green flag, a sign of closeness or peace. But when it's coming from a narcissist, it's a tactic and it's bait. It's a soft con, a quiet test to see if you're lonely enough, guilty enough, or hopeful enough to fall back in line. And if you answer, you've already taken the hook. I spent the last 20 years researching self-worth and narcissistic relationships. As a coach, author, and survivor, I teach people how to recognize manipulation the moment it begins. In this video, I'll break down the 3 types of texts narcissists use to reel you back in and show you how to spot them before you take the bait. It usually starts simple, a text that sounds harmless, even nice, like a "hey stranger," or "just thinking about you," or "how you been?" So let's slow this down because things happen really fast here. Before you even read the text, the moment their name flashes on your phone, if you're honest, you'll probably feel fear or dread, especially if you've been trying to off-ramp the relationship without going full no contact. Maybe you've been spacing out your replies, trying to become a little less available. Maybe it's someone you told you just needed a little space, or a friend that you've been quietly stepping away from, or even a coworker who keeps pushing your boundaries. You'll feel it in your body first, a quick hit of adrenaline, a tight throat, a fluttering chest, a sick drop in your stomach, and that's your fight or flight system firing, warning you, danger. But if you haven't gotten clear about who they are, and they were the one love bombing you right before they disappeared, it might feel different. You might still be caught in a fantasy that they've changed and that this time is going to be different. You'll feel a sudden rush of hope or excitement, but underneath it, there's still that buzz, that unease, that quiet signal that something's not right. If you're listening to this and realizing you've felt this before, I put together a quick narcissist protection checklist to help you assess the level of risk you're dealing with, links in the description. Your body knows first. It can recognize manipulation before your mind catches up. When you feel this fear, especially with a narcissist, believe it. It shows that they're checking for access to see if you still see them through that old romanticized lens. The fantasy version you once held about who they were and who you were with them. They want to know if they could re-enter that story, if you'll play the part that kept the peace or made them feel adored, and if you do, they know that they can reopen the connection and start extracting your energy again. So when you get a text like this, pay attention to what kind of nostalgia it's asking for. Real nostalgia holds the whole story, the sweetness and the loss. It's honest. It doesn't require you to erase anything. Manipulative nostalgia does. It carries unwritten rules. You won't bring up what they've done, or you'll pretend that the past never happened, or you'll step back into the version of you who adored them without expecting an apology. When that's the deal, the message isn't about missing you. It's just about seeing if you're going to play the part again. The worst part of this text is the double bind. If you don't respond, you look cruel or heartless because who ignores such a nice message? And if you do respond, you've opened the door again. Either way, they win because you're being forced to choose inside their frame. So when you realize that's happening, there are only a few directions you can go. You can stay silent and hold your ground, or you could say something, but that often reopens the loop. Or you can take a physical action to protect your space, like muting, blocking, or going fully no contact. Which one to use depends on what kind of message it is, and that's what we're going to get into next. The next type of text looks something like, "Hey, I'm going to be in your area next week," or "I've got a layover near you tomorrow. Just realized how close I'm going to be to your place," or "I was thinking about getting away for a few days. You still up north?" These kind of texts can go either way. Sometimes they're normal, a friend actually passing through, or a family member just checking in. But other times, there's something else underneath, an invisible rule, an unspoken agreement that you're going to make them comfortable no matter what it costs you. And that's where this test hides. Not in what they say, but in what they expect. They're not testing whether you care. They're testing whether you're going to put their wants ahead of your own well-being, whether you're going to keep doing the emotional labor, reading between the lines, smoothing the edges, and making it easy for them to have what they want without ever having to ask you. And here's what makes this tricky, because sometimes you don't want to say yes, even if it's not manipulation. You're tired, or you're stretched thin, or you're just not up for it, and that's okay. And healthy people can handle that. They can take no for an answer. But when it is manipulation, no suddenly feels very dangerous. You'll know you have to explain or defend or soften it, and you'll be called selfish or unkind. And instead of asking yourself what you actually want, you start asking what will keep the peace. And that's how this test works. It's not about what they're asking, it's about whether you're free to say no. When I look back, I can see the manipulation, not in the message itself, but in how I responded. When I felt safe with people, I could say no easily. I could say that I was tired, or I could say that I'd just gotten back from a trip, or that I was working. But time and time again, with manipulators, the common denominator was me and my reaction. I'd scramble, making up plans I didn't have, or panicking to find a reason that sounded acceptable. And that reaction told me that a simple no was not safe. I felt like I had to armor myself with fiction just to protect myself from the next round of manipulation. So let me show you what I do when I'm in one of these situations. Right now, I'm feeling pressured by a friend. I can tell I don't want to do what she's asking, but I keep catching myself wanting to just make an excuse or even lie just to get out of it. So here's what stood out. She's testing whether you'll still prioritize her comfort over your clarity. Ignore the 2-year silence and pretend nothing happened. Play along with the peacekeeping fantasy that avoids all conflict, and uphold her version of the relationship even though she abandoned it. And that's really helpful, because to me, I feel bad for wanting to make an excuse rather than just saying no. Also, she's not inviting you to reconnect. She's inviting you into amnesia, but your body remembers. That line hit me hard. I could feel myself wanting to smooth things over for her sake, but I know it would come at my own expense, and I just don't want to do that anymore. So this gave me the permission that I'd been waiting for, to finally take action that I already knew I needed to take. And if you like this tool, it's inside my unmanipulatable training, and you can grab the Narcissist Protection Checklist in the link below, and I'll send you an offer to access it. The next one usually starts with a text that sounds calm, thoughtful, kind again. I've been thinking about what happened, or I hate how things ended, or can we talk, or I just want to clear the air. It sounds like an apology maybe, repair, and for a moment you might feel some relief. A small voice inside you says maybe this could finally end the problem. But if you slow it down, you'll notice something underneath that relief. To believe this message, you have to step out of reality just a little. You have to reach for the version of them that you wish existed, not the one who's shown you who they are. So that's not grounded hope, that's fantasy. Grounded hope is I can handle whatever truth shows up here. Fantasy hope says maybe they've changed so I can stop feeling this pain. The moment you've crossed that line, they've got you. You've entered the space where gaslighting feels like resolution. At its core, this one is a sadistic power play. It's not about reconciliation, and it's not even about access like the first two. It's about reversal. They bait you with hope because it's the easiest way to get you to approach them again voluntarily. When you take the bait, it's proof that they still have emotional pull, that they can still make you move towards them. The switch happens the moment you do it. Once you respond, they pull back, change tone, go cold, forcing you to chase the connection that they just pretended to offer. The gratification for them is dominance. They feel powerful watching you try to regain balance, defending, clarifying, or seeking understanding. The motive isn't repair, it's control through reversal, turning your hope into humiliation, your empathy into vulnerability. It's a power play designed to make you prove that they still matter while they act like you don't. So no matter what kind of text it is, the hook, the test, or the bait and switch, the best thing you can do when you think you might be dealing with a manipulator is to follow the 24-hour rule. Sit on your hands if you need to, but do not respond for 24 hours. It won't be comfortable. You'll feel the impulse, even the compulsion, to respond. But 24 hours will tell you everything you need to know. If the relationship is healthy, the message will still be there tomorrow and it'll still make sense when you reply. You'll be able to respond calmly with clarity. If it's a manipulator or a narcissist, they usually can't wait that long. They're going to escalate. They'll send more messages. They'll change their tone. They'll guilt you or push harder. They'll show you exactly who they are. And when this happens, it might make sense to block or mute or respond with a firm boundary. During those 24 hours, though, ask yourself a few questions. Do I have to pretend here? How much emotional weight am I being asked to carry? Can I actually afford emotionally to say yes or to re-engage? Do I even want to? You'll get your answer in that space, and you don't have to diagnose or explain. You just have to wait long enough for the truth to reveal itself. Thanks for watching. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video on screen right here. Yep, that's the one. Click it to learn even more about spotting narcissists and protecting yourself against manipulation. Okay, I'll see you over there. Bye.